When meeting the Disney characters, there are some really neat requests I've seen people make, and some really neat things I've seen them do for the characters as well. Working with the characters at Disney and visiting them and meeting them is always an awesome, fun time. You always know you're going to see some incredible moments, hopefully take part in some. Just an incredibly magical moment to be able to see people, meet these people that they've read about, seen in movies, dreamed about, and watch them come alive. While working with the characters, I got the opportunity to see the characters do some very special things, meet some special requests, and do some neat things, and also got to watch guests do a lot of really neat things for the characters as well. That was just amazing sometimes. Some of the neatest things were some of the special requests that guests made of the characters themselves. And you would watch characters sometimes do things that you wouldn't necessarily expect just because of a special request. One of the things that tends to happen a lot when families visit Walt Disney World or Disneyland is they end up having to travel without some members of the family. Maybe somebody got sick, maybe a friend of theirs really wanted to go and couldn't. Something happens where somebody who wanted to be there wasn't able to. And it was really neat sometimes watching the different ways that people would still manage to bring those people not on the trip onto the trip with them. I would watch people that would shoot special video clips for the ones not on the trip where they would have the characters say hi to them and deliver a message.
Hi everyone, it's Anna, Princess Anna of the Airedale. Here you guys are in Farwood Kingdom and I would really like some company over here. You know, I've been trying to build a snowman recently. I think he'd be shorter, a little bigger, no hair on top, a mustache and pickle nose. I think he should be named Bob. I don't know why, but I really just like that name. If you guys could help me, that'd be wonderful. Goodbye.
And that was just a simple request. Our family member really wanted to be here, but they couldn't make it. Would it be possible for you to say hi to them in my video camera? And a lot of times the characters will do that. For the non-talking characters, the fur characters, they may just wave, they may do something silly in front of the camera, or something like that to let them know that they're thinking about them. But a lot of the face characters will deliver a message. This is always up to the character. They can say no, they do sometimes, but many of them, if you have a nice request, will. The other thing I saw that was really cool for the absent family and friends was what we called the Flat Stanley. Oftentimes we would see people come in with pictures of their loved one who wasn't there with them. Sometimes it was a framed picture, sometimes it was a cutout picture. I watched a few people that had cutouts on little wood sticks and they would hold that in the group pictures, and they would do something where this person was in the picture either in the whole big group or maybe the character holding that picture of them. And again, this is up to the character as far as them holding it. But it was a way for them to take that absent family member and to bring them into the group. I remember a few times where families had come and they had lost a loved one. That loved one had a special character, a favorite character, and they would get a picture of that character holding that picture of the deceased loved one. And that was really cool. That would bring tears to your eyes. And of course, one of the neat things with the character interaction is the autographs as well. And I watched the characters autograph some amazing different things. People would come in with picture frames, either ones they bought or oftentimes even ones that they had made. The flat cardboard frames that you can buy for posters and stuff, they may carry those around and have the characters sign all around that. And then they would buy a poster to put in it or a larger picture depending upon the size of the frame. People would autograph postcards. And I've actually done this where I had taken in postcards from my patrons and then walked up to certain characters and said, hey, this is a friend of mine. They helped me get here. They couldn't make it, but they helped send me. Could you do me a big favor and just autograph this so I can mail it to them? They'll love seeing your autograph on it. That's just a really special touch. And most of the characters are willing to do that. Just don't walk up with a big old stack. Now, if you do have a big stack, go to City Hall and ask them. And sometimes they can make some magic happen for you. They've done it for me. I've also seen guests bring in pillowcases and blankets. And that was always kind of neat, especially for children, would have the characters sign all of these different pillowcases and blankets. And then as photographers and attendants, we would often get together and we would hold this thing and pull it tight so the character could sign it. And that was a neat way to, yes, kind of become part of the interaction. Although I have to tell you, it is very interesting trying to take a picture of a character autographing a pillowcase while you're holding it, pulling it tight and shooting up here. I have done it though. Clothing. A lot of people like to have their shirts signed by the character. Now here's a tip. They won't sign it if you're wearing it. They will not sign any part of your body or anything that you were wearing. So if you want them to sign a hat, you've got to take it off. Okay, don't take your shirt off. That's not what I mean. Give them one that you were not wearing while you're still wearing another shirt. But they can't sign any article of clothing that is being worn at the time. They will sign shirts and hats if people are not wearing them. So that's also another neat way to do it. But while the characters are doing all these wonderful things, I've also seen guests do some incredibly amazing things for the characters. One of the things that people don't realize is the characters can receive gifts. They cannot get cash tips. Cash tips are not allowed for any normal cast member at the parks. This does not include wait staff at meals. It does not include bellhops and bellboys and stuff like that. But for your normal cast members, they can't accept cash tips. But they can accept gifts, and that includes the characters. And some of the neatest things I saw were people who brought in gifts with these characters in mind. People who brought in pictures that they had drawn of the characters. Now, I did actually bring you a gift too. I do YouTube videos now, and I have one of my viewers want me to bring you a picture that he drew of you. So this is from Paris, it's 13. So that is for you. Yeah, he did a good job drawing you.
Oh, wow, there.
Whether it's kids or adults, I saw some of the neatest hand-drawn pictures of the characters and autographed by the guests who gave it to them, and that was always really cool. Yes, they do love getting those kinds of things. I would watch people that would bring in little miniature figures and pins and other things that are for the character. And that was fantastic, and the character would love it. The characters are already looking for special things to talk about. If you've got pins on, they're going to look and see if you've got one of their pins. If you're wearing a button like a special day or a happy birthday or happy anniversary, they're already looking for those. And then when you pop out and you hand them a pin with them, that's amazing. It is just a really neat gift for them. You'd be surprised at the reactions you can get. Even something simple. I've gone on trips where I have taken little boxes of candy. You just go down to the grocery store and they're like 80 cents to $1 for a box of candy. And just buying a bunch of those and taking them with me. And then as I go up to meet the character, hey, I got a special treat for you. Kylo Ren, for example, I brought him a box of sweet and sour candies. And so because I know the moods, there's a little bit of sweet and a little bit of sour there for you.
Very good. This one. The path leads to the dark side.
It was an amazing encounter. These little boxes of candy are just a nice way to say thank you, one, for meeting you and taking the time, and because it's not an easy job. If you think they're just doing it for kicks, I've seen the other side. Say thank you. And it's a nice way to do that, but it was also an amazing way to get them very excited and grateful, and you could get some amazing interactions. Oop, he's playing to you, Mary.
Oh, that, oh. That's a home run right there. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'll keep it safe for you. I promise I won't open it. I promise.
Oh, my God. That's so sweet of you.
I couldn't believe I ran out of my candy at Animal Kingdom one day, and so I brought Chip and Dale granola bars, because it's what I had. Kind of forgetting, chipmunks love granola. They went crazy for it. I brought you a little treat. My daughter's got the autograph one, but I know you love nuts and stuff.
Oh, they brought you snacks. Oh. Oh my goodness. Here, I'll hold on to that for you. Thank you.
So little things like snacks and treats and candies are great to be able to bless the characters, and you're going to be amazed at the wonderful interactions you are going to get just from something simple like that. The other thing that was always so fun to watch was when you would have a child come up dressed as the character. That was always amazing because it would make the characters light up. They love meeting guests anyways, and then when you get somebody that's dressed up as you...
Would you look at this? Would you look at this? Oh, it's stunning! Oh, darling, it's stunning. If you ever want to go more extreme, even darker and even lighter. No, but I love this middle ground. I really do. Oh, it's so... Oh, darling, it's stretchy. It's gorgeous. It is.
That was just cool, and some of the costumes that these kids would wear were absolutely fantastic. We would see it all the time at Disney. You'd melt the princesses' hearts. It was just really cool to watching the kids in costumes. And they would always get these amazing interactions. And I have to be honest, There were a couple times that I saw kids dressed up in my outfit. There was at least twice at Walt Disney World I saw kids dressed up as a PhotoPass photographer. And that was like really cool. And I can guarantee you those kids got some extra attention, some extra pictures, and then they got to help me take pictures. And it's always fun when you get the kid being able to help you. And I actually took one of these kids that was wearing a PhotoPass costume, and I let him take the picture. I got down on my knees so he could look in the camera, and I held the camera and got it focused for him, and let him take a picture of his family. Let him be the PhotoPass photographer for the moment. So knowing what it did for me, yeah, you bet the characters are also going to go above and beyond. Even at Silver Dollar City, when I was a conductor and a train robber, we would see kids come in dressed up as train conductors, train engineers, and yes, even occasionally robbers. You bet those kids got extra attention because, man, they were wanting to be one of us, and we're going to let them be one of us if we can. Those dressed up conductors, they got to be the ones to yell all aboard. The engineers, we found ways to get them to go up to the engine and talk to the engineer and look inside the engine and give them a special moment right up front there where they could see it. The robbers, we tried to put them in the middle of the train so that way the robbers could give them extra attention. It was always fun when you'd see a kid dressed up in costume and to be able to play with them and let them feel like they were really that person they were dressed up as. It's one of the reasons why if I would see a girl dressed up as a princess, I always called her princess or called her by her name. If they'd be walking by, it'd be, "Hello, Cinderella, how are you? Good morning, princess, good to see you." And we would greet them by name to let them feel like they were royalty. And then when they would get to meet the characters, yes, they knew they definitely were royalty because here they were with the real princess and they would just get some great attention. So what are some tips and tricks you've used to get some great character interactions, and what are some unusual and fun things you've done with the characters? I'd love to hear them. Share them in the comments below. We want to hear your stories. Thank you for subscribing, for liking the video, for sharing the video. Be sure to check the description below too. There's a ton of information there on merchandise, web pages, equipment, and all sorts of stuff. Thank you, too, to my patrons for supporting me. My patrons are the ones who make this kind of stuff happen. They're my financial backbone who let me do what I do. So if you want to know more about Patreon, check the links below or at the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching, and God bless. If you'd like to know about my merchandise, fan pages, and more, be sure to check the description below. If you'd like to know whenever I've got a new video posted, well, make sure you hit that button right up there and subscribe. If you'd like to watch another one of my videos, I've got a great one for you right here. And if you'd like to be like these wonderful people here and support me financially on Patreon, well, make sure you check the link right there. There's even some extra perks for them. Thank you so much, and God bless.